Hey, Greg.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
Good.
You know, we started this show because we want to get better at talking because we're awkward people.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the reason I'm so awkward is because back in my day, I played a lot of video games and they were isolated because you didn't
talk to anybody when you were playing video games.
They weren't connected to the internet.
Except for the TV.
Yeah, so we should probably...
Did you think of TV as your friend?
I still do.
It is.
My only friend.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're talking about video games.
Mm-hmm. Because Doomham100 said, they suggested we talk about are video games becoming less fun? Or were they more fun earlier?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Listen, Mr. Ham, Mr. or Mrs. Ham, can I call you Doom? I think my suspicion is you are about closer to our age. And so that's a loaded question because kids growing up now are into different types of video games because that's what's around. That's what's most current when they are playing games. And also, when we get older, we get other responsibilities. We find other enjoyment in other things in life.
Yeah, I haven't really played video games in a long time. Not seriously, not like I did when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't have time.
Plus, you know, when you're a kid, you're limited by the things you can do legally.
Yeah.
So
I found other things to...
I'm an adult. I can play other games, or go out without anyone's permission.
Yeah.
I can do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe that's part of it. But there are plenty of people our age who play video games a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it's very hard for me to find a game that I get excited about anymore like I used to. There are a few that have cropped up that I like. Dark Souls, for instance, is a modern game that I really like. Obviously, if you watch Wheezy Gamer, my gaming channel, you know that I don't have much time to play it, though, because I haven't been updating that channel. I think it's a really good game.
Yeah.
A modern game.
I get the impression, and this is how it kind of put me off of even trying to play modern video games, it seems saturated with first-person shooters. Mostly like war simulation games, like Call of Duty. It seems like that's like the #1 game. There's a million different titles of it, and they're all making the game. And I was never really into first-person shooters that much.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
I wasn't that.
They don't really
either.
make the video games that I liked as a kid anymore.
No, well, there are some, but they're just not as popular.
Yeah.
The first-person shooter, I think, lends itself to the online gaming so much more than other types of games.
Yeah, I didn't play video games with other people though when I was a kid.
That's true. Me neither. There are some first-person games that are awesome. I like Portal's great.
Yeah.
I hear that Half-Life is great. I've never played it.
Yeah.
And there's a new game called The Stanley Parable, which kind of makes fun of video gaming at the same time. It deconstructs the video game. And it's awesome. Check out Stanley Parable. Seriously, it's hilarious. Seriously, hilarious. But that said, when I was a kid, I played a lot of video games. I played more than most of anyone else I know. I've beaten the original Super Mario Brothers without dying, without warping. That was actually later in life. You saw me do that.
Yeah. You're really good at video games.
And that's because I played that game. The first time I ever picked up a Nintendo controller. Not the first time, but one of the first times. My uncle had a Nintendo. I played it for like 9 hours. I didn't stop. And I think I got a blister on the back of my thumb. On the back of my thumb. I don't know how that can happen.
Like it went through your thumb.
Right.
From the bottom pad all the way through the bone.
Absolutely.
To the back of your thumb.
And, sometimes I'll see comments on the gaming channel about how I'm not a true gamer. And it hurts. It hurts when I see those comments. Because I've lost touch with my gamerness.
Mm-hmm. Sad.
But I want to tell them, listen, I'm really good at games. I just don't have time to play them right now. But anyway, we should talk about
our top three
games.
Top 3 video games?
They're going to probably be a little skewed because we're old men.
Yeah.
But let's do it.
But, if you're young and you're interested in video games, the ancient history of video games, maybe you'll go back and check these titles out.
Maybe.
Blow the dust off of the cartridge.
That's right. Actually, one of mine is a little more current. It's still pretty old, probably, to a lot of you. But, okay, go for it.
Me first? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and this is probably the one we've got in common, I would think, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes, that's the one.
It's a little bit newer.
That's the one that I said was more current, but it's not that current.
Shadow of the Colossus is an amazing game, and the reason I really like it is the way it evokes a mood, and the way it tells the story is that there's not very many like cutscenes or anything like that, and it's just you're riding around in this empty world on a horse, killing giant monsters, and you get into it. It's immersive.
I think it's so weird how immersive it is because it's also so empty. There's like no other besides the big monsters you're battling. There's nothing else. You're basically just going on this adventure across this barren land with you and a horse, and you find these giant monsters, and each one has their own quirks and weaknesses and
it's
way
sort of a puzzle
to kill them
that you have to solve.
It feels like a true fantasy, and as you go, little bits of the story are revealed to you as you go on, and it has a kind of a surprise ending. And the story itself is that for being so minimal, it's a very powerful story. Yeah, it's really good. I really like that game. I think it's on PlayStation 2. Yeah. And it's probably not for everyone because it doesn't. It's pretty minimal. Like it doesn't have like a lot of flashy numbers and points. And
you're not like
coins
really,
and
you're not really upgrading.
Tasks.
You're not getting other weapons or anything like that.
Little tasks you have to do. It's very simple, but also very big and immersive.
Yeah, it's beautiful too. The world you're in. It's just this empty, beautiful world.
I like it, and it also makes you feel a little depressed because of how empty it is. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it makes you feel. You feel for the characters.
Yeah. So that's both of our first one. You do another one.
The next one is I've actually never played this one, but I've watched you play it, and this is a more recent one too. Is Portal, which I like for the same reasons. Yeah. I didn't play it, but it at the same time like it doesn't have much of a story to it, and it's you're just solving these puzzles, and the story is just sort of revealed. And like it's sort of the mechanics of the gameplay reveal the story, more than like any sort of cutscenes.
And it's just a very unique idea. Most of you are probably familiar with it, but you shoot a gun that creates a portal. You shoot it in two places, and then basically you go through one hole and you get into the other hole. Yeah,
and you use it to solve, to get through the
it's like
stage.
Constant puzzle solving, and first-person shooter. Well, not shooter necessarily.
It is, but you're not really shooting anything except portals.
Yeah, I would. You know what might be better than Portal 1? Portal 2.
I've never seen
Portal 2 is even better. It's funnier. It's got a funnier story to it. More of a story actually, but it's hilarious. But that isn't on my list.
I think the first one's pretty funny too. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
That's true. The first one is funny. I think the second one's even funnier. But next one on my list is probably... See, this is hard because video games cross a lot of different genres. So I could pick the best platform, best RPG, best blah 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 blah. But I'm just going with...
Just go for the gut.
I'm going from the gut. The ones that really got me excited when I played them when I was younger. And one of them that I just loved absolutely was Day of the Tentacle.
Oh yeah.
It was... There are these computer games that happened when we were younger, like the Sierra King's Quest and Space Quest games, point and click adventures, or
text based. I don't know.
Yeah, and then LucasArts did the ones that were like more about the puzzle solving and the story, and you didn't die, and they weren't so incredibly difficult like King's Quest.
Yeah.
Something. But they were hilarious, really good story, and it was the first one like that I've ever really played, and it blew me away. Later, a lot of people might argue that Grim Fandango is the best of that genre, and that is a really, really good one. But Day of the Tentacle has a special place in my heart, so that's number 2 for me.
I really loved point-and-click adventure games when I was a kid, and they were the most games that I played, and I wanted to include them on my list, but I couldn't because I had to include this video game that I'm about to say the name of.
Before you say it, I want to interject. The guy who made Day of the Tentacle, oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. The guy who made Day of the Tentacle just came out with a new game called Broken Age, which I've played, and it's really good.
Oh.
Not as good as Day of the Tentacle. Huh. He did a Kickstarter, and he made that game. Anyway.
So, my last video game, Grand Theft Auto.
Which one?
The entire series, but let's just say any one. Any of them. They're all kind of the same. They all kind of build off each other in the same way. And the reason that I picked this game is because I thought of this game when I was 12 years old, and a friend of mine from high school brought this up, is that we were thinking of a game called Burning Rubber, where you got this like basically we were combining point and click. It's not quite Grand Theft Auto, but you combines point and click puzzle solving with being able to drive cars, and you could steal cars and you could race them. And the idea was you'd be able to basically do anything in the world you wanted to do. Anything at all, and that was sort of my dream as a kid, to have a video game where you could just do anything. You could just like steal cars, blow things up, and just like shoot things.
I think that was every kid's dream.
Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto fulfilled that.
It does fulfill
fantasy.
that dream. Yeah, it does. Now kids can do that. They can just go do whatever they want in a game, Grand Theft Auto. But Matt, I hate to rain on your parade, but there's a difference between an idea and an execution. You didn't create the game.
I know.
Anyone can have an idea.
I know.
You just have to follow through.
My lawyers will figure that out. The difference between an idea and and then the execution of what.
All right, my final game, because we are running out of time. Wheezy Gamer watchers probably could guess my favorite game of all time is the original Legend of Zelda. On the Wheezy Gamer channel, I played it. I beat it. If you want to go watch me beat the entire game, it's a lot of videos. Not as many as Dark Souls so far, but the original Legend of Zelda.
It's a great game.
I really love Ocarina of Time or Ocarina. I don't know.
Ocarina, isn't it?
That's how I pronounce it. I've heard other people pronounce it differently. Everyone says that's like the best game of all time. It's great, but the original Zelda, I probably had many blisters on my hands from playing that. Play it, Matt.
Video games, video games, video games.
Who's starting the verse?
Video games. You play those video games every evening time.
But then you have to stop and then make a rhyme.
Oh, video games,
video games,
video games,
video games,
then video games,
video games,
then video games we played when we were kids.
One more verse.
Video.
One time I played a game, and one time I played the same game again.
Video game.
The end.
Video game.
Probably shouldn't have done that last verse. All right, we're done.
All right.
Thank you for.
See ya. Yeah. Tell us about your favorite video
What's
games.
your favorite
and how
video
old
games?
we are,
and what modern games should we play? I've been
Yeah.
trying to look for some good ones. And I'm an old man, so and I don't have time. I'm probably not going to play it. But
yeah.
go, tell
There's
tell
not
me
much
anyway.
time left for this world.
Right.
So it has to be a short game.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.